And it's that time again, time for our weekly life skill video. I was waiting for you guys to send me some suggestions of things that you wanted to learn, but you haven't yet. That's okay. I was thinking, what's the biggest life skill that I've learned besides cooking that would be good for you guys to learn or practice? And I would have to say sewing. I know how to sew, hand sew. My mama taught me how to sew when I was little, and then my dad also taught me how to sew, and he's really good at sewing. He can mend lots of things. He used to mend my toys and my clothes and dresses and things like that, so it's a really good skill to have. And now I can mend my clothes and things, and now Hazel's toys, and it came really handy at Halloween time when my costume got messed up when I was a ladybug, and so it's just a really good skill to have in your back pocket. So I'm going to teach you just a couple maybe quick stitches that could help you mend something that has a hole in it, or if you're wanting to sew a couple pieces of fabric together. Again, you're going to have to get parent permission to use a needle and thread, because a needle is a sharp object, so make sure you get parent or adult permission, I should say, because yeah, you have to be safe first. I am going to get us set up here, and then we're going to jump in and get started. Okay, I've cleared my space and I've lowered the camera down so you can kind of see what we're doing. I have a shirt here that has a hole in it. You can see it's kind of a fairly large hole in the armpit. I'm going to mend that. I'm going to sew it back so then it's wearable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it inside out, because you don't want the thread to show, especially that I'm using black thread. I'm going to find the hole on this side, and then I'm going to set it to the side while I get my other stuff together, but this is where I'm going to be sewing. I'm going to be sewing that hole. So I'm going to put it this side. I have a couple of sewing kits that I have had. This one's from high school when I took a textiles class, and a textiles class teaches you how to sew. It was really fun. If you have a chance to take a textiles class when you're in high school, you should totally do it. And it comes with different things that I need in a nifty little box. And so, but the one that I really like the best is one I just found from Walmart a few years ago. It was like $10. And it has literally everything you need. Scissors, marking pencils, a thread ripper, needles and pins, safety pins, everything. And it comes with thread too. And I had white thread, and then I already had the black thread out that I'm going to be using today, because I want you to be able to see what we're doing, but it just comes in there tucked nice and neat. So like I said, we're going to be using black thread, and we're going to be using a needle like this. And then I'm probably going to pull this push pin out, because I want to make sure the needle stays on the table and not on the floor, because I don't want my cat or Hazel to get it. So I'm going to put it in right here, and then I'm going to set it to the side, and then I'm going to get my black thread, because I want you to be able to see it. Usually I would use white thread on an orange material, because it wouldn't show up as bad. And then I'm going to get a small pair of scissors. I'm going to push this part to the side, because I don't need it. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure out the amount of thread that I need. Now, I have a pretty big hole in that shirt, so I'm probably going to put it over here so you can kind of see on the computer. You see it move back and forth. I'm going to make it a fairly long piece of thread. I might have to come back and get more thread, and that's okay. But I'm going to get a fairly long piece of thread. And then I'm just going to keep pulling. That's probably good. And then I'm going to cut it off. Okay. Now, I'm going to take my thread here. Just kind of brush it off, because I don't want it to be too thick, because I'm going to try to thread it through the eye of the needle, and the eye is a little hole. Once it's through, you're going to grab it and you're going to pull it. Now, you're going to pull the needle until it's in the middle. Let me pull you up a little bit. Until it's in the middle of your thread. So I'm going to just make sure it's even. Keep going until it's even on both sides. Let's see. Almost there. Okay. There, got it even. Okay, so it's pretty much even. I see that I have a little bit of a knot in my thread already. That's okay. That's where I'm gonna make my knot. Now I'm putting my my needle back into my push pin holder. I don't really know what it's called. I call it a push pin holder or a needle holder. I'm going to make a knot here, and you want to make a knot because when you're putting this thread into your shirt or whatever material you're fixing, you're going to need the thread to stop. If you don't put a knot in it, it's just going to keep going, and then you won't be able to sew it together. So I'm going to make my knot around that area because it already had a knot in it. I do it a few times. I make it a fairly large knot since I won't be able to see it on the inside of my shirt. And maybe one more. That should be good. This is a long part after the knot. I'm not going to need that. It's just going to get in my way, so I'm going to make it a little shorter. And I'm going to cut that part off and put it to the side. Now I have my knot on the end, and I have my thread attached to my needle. And we're good to get started. So I'm going to pull the camera back down, pull my shirt over so you guys can see what we're doing. Okay, I have my needle and my thread. I'm going to lay it down real quickly and get my shirt situated. So here's my shirt with the hole in it again. Let me find the hole. Here it is. Okay, so I want to mend these together because it's a big hole. I want to pull these two pieces of fabric together and sew them up. And then on the other side, it'll kind of look like a seam. I am going to start with this long one right here and then go down just because I feel like that's just going to flow better. So I'm going to take my needle and my thread. Hopefully you can see this. And I'm going to just find a starting point. I'm going to start where the seam has already been started right here. You can see that it's already been started. And I don't know the thread names, honestly, because I just don't. I never learned the official names of them, but I am going to link a article with videos embedded in it that has the different threading and sewing types, and it's very, very kid-friendly and really easy to understand. I watched it this morning because I was trying to figure out which pattern I was doing, and I can't remember. It's like the crossover or something is the one I do. I'm not sure. So I'm going to cut this extra piece off because I feel like it's going to get in my way, and I don't need it because I'm fixing the shirt anyway. All right, now we're ready to get started. I'm going to put my needle through just one side. I'm just going to start on this front side. Make sure you guys can see, like so. And you can see it's went through the shirt, and then I'm just going to pull through till my thread gets there. And you see how it stops? It stops because I had a knot. It wouldn't stop if I didn't have a knot. And then I'm going to go over. So I'm going to have my threads on this side. So I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to stick it in the same side that I started. So I'm going to make sure my shirt is nice and lined up though, because I don't want it to be too bunchy. I'm going to keep it as close to the edge as possible so it's like a seam. You see how that one has a pretty thick seam? I'm going to try to keep it the same as that one so it kind of matches. All right, pulling my thread tight. Again, making sure that these are fairly even. And then I'm going to go in the same direction. So I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to put it beside where my knot is, and I'm going to put it right next to it, and then I'm going to pull again. And you can see how the thread now goes over my hole, or the two pieces that are not connected anymore. I'm going to keep doing that until I have it mended. So I'm going to keep going. I'm going to go in the same spot. I'm going to go next to that spot, and I'm going in the other side, and then I pull the needle through. There you go. So again, I'm just going back and forth, but I'm entering the shirt on the same side. So I'm taking my needle, the same side that I started, and then I'm going to push it through to the other side and pull up. Same side that I started, push it through, pull up. Same side that I started, push it through, make sure it's lined up, pull up. So I'm going to keep doing the exact same thing all the way down this line. kind of gotten to the end of that row. Now, this is not the neatest work ever, as you can see on both sides. I'm not a professional. I really just want to fix the shirt so I can wear it again. It's not anything fancy. It's a fairly easy stitch, and it's doing the job. You can see that the two pieces of fabric that were not together are now together. And if I show you on the other side, now, the only thing about this stitch is you can kind of see it when you flip it over. So I can still kind of see that thread a little bit when mending that. Again, that's not really going to bother me because it's on the underside of it's like under my armpit. So it's not really going to be seen. If I was doing something that would be seen, I would do a different stitch that I'm going to try to show you here on this next part. But again, it doesn't really bother me because it's on the armpit side. So I am now at this other section of the shirt. I still have enough thread, so I'm going to just keep working with it. And this part is a little bit weird because it's going to go this way now because I was going up. And now I'm going to have to kind of turn a little bit. So I think I'm going to make another stitch, one more like over stitch like I was just doing, to the very end of it, or the very corner of that turn area. Maybe one more because I feel like I need one more. Okay. Now I feel like I can kind of turn my shirt, and I'm going to find the section that still has a hole. So it's just a little hole now, so I can show you. Here's just a little hole like so. So I'm going to do a different stitch for this one. I'm going to make sure I pull it kind of not too tight, but I want to make sure that I can get this edge, this edge and this edge together. So it's going to be kind of like that. This is a stitch, again, I don't know the name of the stitches. This one might be called, let me think, cross back or backward forward, I don't know. So I really don't know the names of them. Again, I'm not a professional. This is a life skill I have. I'm going to take it, and because of where this is starting, it's starting over this seam. I'm going to start on this side of it. And I'm going to push it through, make sure I got to the other side, and I'm going to pull, okay? Then I'm going to go back through the other side. I'm going to go back this way. So I'm having to turn mine a little bit more, my shirt, and push it towards me now. I was pushing away from me, now I'm pushing it towards me, and it's going to make like a little line. So then I'm going to go over this seam, because I'm going to have to go over it to go on the other side. And I'm going to push through. Be careful because you don't want to get your finger on the other side. And I'm going to push it through and pull this way. All right, the same thing on the other side. Push it through. I'm pushing it through. I'm going to push it through just right next to that hole that I already have. I'm going to just be really close to it and pull it towards you. Okay? Then, I don't really know what this one's called. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to get closer to the edge. I kind of got a little bit far from the edge, so I'm going to kind of go back up this way, and I'm going to push it away from me. Pushing it towards the camera. And pull. And then I'm going to stick it back this way, like right beside where I ended. And pull it back towards me. All right, one more time. Towards you. Pull. And then towards me. Pull. And I'm going to keep doing that until I get finished with this section. As you can see, I've already gotten to that other seam because remember that hole was really small. Now for me, it feels a little bit loose, so I think I'm going to go back to this part and do the same thing. So my thread is towards you right now. So since it's towards you, I'm going to have to put the needle towards me. But what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to put the thread in between the other thread that I've already done. So like I'm going to put my needle, I'm going to put it right here because I already have thread here and here. Ooh, there. So I'm going to put my needle here and go back. So I'm going to go back through, okay, and I'm going to pull towards me. And then I'm going to go towards you again. And I'm going to put it right here in between that window. So in between this piece of thread and this piece of thread. Again, I don't know what this stitch is called. And I don't even know if this is official sewing stitch. It's just the one that works for me when I'm mending clothing. And I'm going to pull it that way. Then I'm going to find my next hole. And I'm going to put the needle towards me. So I'm going to keep doing that until I get to this part where I started. Okay, I'm back at where I started. And again, it's not the neatest thing, but again, I'm not a professional sewer. I'm not an avid sewer. I only do this to mend clothing when I need to, or to fix a blanket when I need to. So again, if you have somebody in your house that sews, learn from them. Let them teach you. This is a great life skill because you can fix a lot of things. You can make things if you can sew. So if they're an avid sewer and they know what they're doing, definitely have them teach you their tips and tricks. I am doing this from what I remember from when I was your age and younger, and then also in my textiles class in high school, we did a little bit of hand sewing, but mostly machine sewing. So yeah, this is me remembering what I was doing from when I was your age or younger. So you can do it and you can fix clothing. Now, I'm done with my mending, but if I just leave it loose like this, the thread's going to totally come out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a loop. So I'm going to stick my thread back through all the way. And you can see that now I have like a loop. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to put it through that loop. And I'm going to pull, and it's going to kind of make a knot. It's going to make a knot. And then I like to do it a couple of times to make like a good knot that's going to stay. So you put your needle through, knot. And then you can even do it this way. You can even like put it in that way. In through like you were doing a sewing stitch. And then you can go back. You can go that way, and then you could put it through the knot, and then I'll make a little knot over like that one. But I do this a couple times because I want it to be super secure. You can also just knot it off. You can just cut it off and make a knot if you want to. So like if you were to do that, which I guess that's kind of what you're doing with your needle thread. I don't do that. I just found this is way easier and much more secure. So I'm done with my knot. Let me do one more. I like to also do it like where I go in. I went in the shirt and then back through. So then it kind of looks like this. And then I pull it a little bit and put it through the thread. And that makes a nice knot. So there you go. So now your sewing is secure. And you can cut this off. I do leave a tiny little piece, but then I cut off some extra where my other knot was, like so. Make sure you've secured your needle. You don't want it to go flying away. So I'm going to put it back into my push pin puff, whatever you want to call it, and I'm going to turn my shirt back the right way. All right. Now, you can see the differences between these two stitches. So as you can see, the first one that we did, the over one where you go over the seam, you can definitely see it. So if you don't care that it can be seen, then that's fine. But the other one, it made a nice seam that you really cannot see the thread. And if you look on the other side, I should have done it the whole way because it looks pretty good. It matches pretty much the other seam across, and you cannot see the stitches here because that's not the one that was ripped. This side was the one that was ripped, and you really can't see my thread too bad right there. So if you're mending something that you want fixed but you don't want the thread to show, then you would want to use a stitch like this. If you didn't really mind and you needed like a really quick fix, this one was way faster, but again, you can see it, so whatever your preference is. But now this shirt is mended, and on the inside it looks like really messy, and you can see the thread, but again, they're not going to be looking at the underside of your shirt. People are going to be looking at this side. So totally up to you and your preference and what you want to do. But yeah, that's a really good life skill that I have used forever now, and now I can wear this shirt again and won't have a hole in the underside of my shirt. So if you are a sewer and you have a good technique that you want to teach me, send me a video, because again, I love learning new things, but also practical things that I can use the rest of my life is something that I really love to learn. So send me a video if you can, and happy sewing. Let me know if you sew or if you mend something or if you make something. I know that we have some sewers out there that have already been practicing in our class, so let me know what you're doing. Bye!